So we are looking at an agentic AI use case here, wherein we are going to verify the incoming invoice, which can arrive over an email or maybe as an SQS message, and the invoice once received is verified through an agent, AI-based agent, that is going to extract all the invoice details, do a matching with the existing PO, and then also do the calculation accuracy, and it's going to then go for an approval in a system like ServiceNow. And finally, the payment file will be generated and the actual payment will happen, which would be realized as a file transfer. Finally, the invoice will be recorded and archived. So this is the kind of use case that we're looking at. So we're going to do it over HCL Universal Orchestrator. So this is the kind of flow that we have. We have the first step that is going to receive the invoice, is going to verify the invoice, also going to check for approval on ServiceNow, um, and then finally the payment file is going to get generated, and the payment file is then transferred, and finally the invoice is recorded and archived. So let's see this in action. So I have the first step that is going to receive the invoice. Now this is receive the invoice with all the invoice details like the item number, the part number, the product description, the quantity, total unit price. So for each item, we have the part number, the product description, quantity, and total, along with the unit price, along with the final overall total, the sales tax, and the final total overall. So this is uh, the first job, that's receiving the invoice. And then we have the subsequent step, that is the AI agent. So this is uh, the main highlight here, where I'm hitting an API which is exposed by the AI agent, and we are passing the invoice ID and the order ID. What I get in turn is um, everything from the um, or PO against which it is matched, the timestamp of the PO. I have the ID. I'm also getting all the other details. Now, this is what I've extracted from the invoice. So I have the invoice ID, I have the invoice date there, the due date of the invoice, the supplier name, the address of the supplier, the phone number, the email, the buyer name, address, phone number, email, the details of the invoice. So all the details that we saw in the previous step, like the part number, quantity, unit price, total, etc. Same for all the items. So with the final order total and the sales tax, and then the PO data. So here we are extracting uh, and comparing with the PO. So the order ID, the purchase date, supplier information, address, phone number, email, the buyer name, address, phone number, email, order details, product description. So we're trying to see if there are any discrepancies between what was ordered and what is now invoiced. So we have the part number, the quantity, the unit price, the total, the subtotal, the sales tax, the total amount. Now we are doing the discrepancy analysis. So now this AI agent is doing the actual discrepancy analysis. So here it is doing a comparison of the invoice items. So item 001, synchronous buck converter, quantity 220, unit price $1, total amount is $220, voltage regulator item 2, quantity 150, unit price 0.75, 112.5. Item 3, 80 mega 328p microcontroller, quantity 100, unit price 2.50, total of 250. Item 4, which is an unexpected item here, NCP 11173.3, quantity 50, unit price point 0.8, so $40. Now purchase order items. Now you see that the same items are repeated. That is item 1, 2, and 3. We don't have the fourth item, which is something additional. So the discrepancy summary here says, okay, in fact, the discrepancy summary here says for item 1, there is a quantity mismatch because in the invoice it is 220, in the PO it is only 200, and severity classification in this case is major. For item 4, the NCP 11173.3, discrepancy is extra item in the invoice not listed in the PO. Severity is major again, the classification, and also the financial comparison. The invoice total is 671.41, purchase order total is 624.46. So there is a total amount mismatch. The severity in this case is classified as major. So this is the validation report that is being generated later. So issue is quality quantity mismatch, invoice quantity 220, 200, major, and here extra item in the invoice, again classification as major, and the total amount mismatch 675 against 624, severity being major. Now the recommended actions by the AI agent is to review the quantity of the synchronous buck converter, investigate the inclusion of NCP 1117 3.3 in the invoice, reconcile the total amount discrepancy between the invoice and the PO. The analysis has identified that there are several major discrepancies between invoice and PO. It is recommended to review the items and amounts for accuracy, resolve these issues before proceeding with the payment, and of course it's also putting in a comment to know if there's any additional help needed. So this is the kind of output that we are getting from the AI agent, and then we see that subsequent jobs have also completed. So we have the next step, which is checking for the approval in ServiceNow. So I have the result from the ServiceNow approval. It is already approved. um, this is the details of the invoice number, um, the sys id of the record within ServiceNow, and we are also creating a payment file next. So I have a job that is creating a payment file. So the payment file is successfully generated for this particular invoice. I also have the payment file transferred to the bank. So the transfer of the payment file to the bank is also done. And finally, we also have the um, invoice recorded and archived in our system. So the invoice is processed and archived as finally. So and and if you notice the execution time, this is where Universal Orchestrator is very fast. It's hardly completes within a minute. Everything is done.